just talked about in my last video but really loved. And that is Mercury by Amy Jo Burns. Mercury. So, this book, it starts off, it's summer, it's 1990. It is like a small town family drama. And yeah, our main character, or one of our main characters, Mark. I'm so sorry, guys. Rewind. The story kicks off when one of our main characters, Marley, moves into this small town in Pennsylvania with her mother. And her life becomes entangled with the Joseph family, specifically the three brothers in this family. And the book begins with her encountering them playing baseball in the field on a summer day. And yeah, it's just throughout that whole summer, she spends time with them and gets to know them. And you know, like 9 years go by in this book. It spans like 9 years. And yeah, it's a very nuanced book. And I think, you know, when you have a lot of time to really, it's not a long book, but when you have time to kind of really appreciate it and like sink your teeth into it, I think it's just perfect. And again, you can't really beat the small town 1990s summer. It's not a fast-paced book, but it's a fast, it's, how do I say, it's not fast-paced, but it is a very fast read that you'll want to savor slowly, if that makes sense. But yeah, I won't ramble too much longer about this because I talked about it just last week. So that was my first. scrap or clue of where her mom might have gone. This book has such like three-dimensional characters. They're very well-rounded and complex. You know, especially Marin, who she can't like control this compulsion to eat people, so you feel bad for her, but at the same time, she's eating people. But the book is about kind of her internal struggles, and it's about the people she encounters along the way. It's a very compelling book. You know, it is gross. There are graphic descriptions of it's like cereal.